We have a customer that has a cute piece that she wants to be able to store securely in her house, but unfortunately, when this was made, there was no real way for the top to be adhered. What someone had done when they made it is they placed brackets across the back, and if you noticed, the brackets are even bent. So clearly not sturdy enough to be able to support any type of a tall cabinet like this. So our objective today is going to be to fasten this down to the base so that it's secure and the customer can use it to store all of whatever she wants across the shelves. So what we're going to do is we have the top off, and we're going to place 3 dowels on each side, put 3 dowels into the top, glue it down, and then that way it'll be nice and sturdy. Before we go there, what we will do is we'll make a jig to ensure that all the screw holes align and the dowels align. First step in ensuring that we're going to get the dowels in appropriately is alignment. So what I've done is I've clamped blocks on either side and across the front so that I know I can have a repeatable location when I take the top off, and when I put the top back, it'll always be in the same location. So I can always also use these same blocks in order to align the holes for the template that I'll use in order to drill it in. Using a piece of 3/4 inch scrap, I've made a jig that will go into each of the edges here, and then I'll drill the holes here on the other side and then apply this jig to the base. What you'll notice on this jig is I've drilled 3 5/16 holes. I've marked the front and I've marked the edge. So why that's important is it's next to impossible unless you're using metal lathings and micrometers to get a perfectly centered hole. So what you do is by marking it, you know that this is always going to be the front and this is always going to be the edge. When I go to the other side, I take that exact same piece and flip it. I still have the front edge, and then the edge against the block is there. So then that way when I drill it down, it'll be a perfect hole. With the jig now completed, we've got 3 holes. I'm now going to take a brad point bit, and what you'll notice on the brad point bit, it's actually flat on the bottom. And we're going to drill 3/8 of an inch down into this 3/4 inch top. So I've used the old-fashioned style of marking your drill bit by putting the tape 1 3/8 inches from the bottom of the flutes. So that way when I drill in, it'll come down right to there, and it'll give me a 3/8 of an inch hole in the bottom. So let's drill those holes out. So using the holes that we drilled, nice inch drop, we can then drill into the base of the cabinet. Go nice and slow when you're doing it. We'll now repeat that same process on the other side, and then we'll take it over to the cabinet. With the holes now drilled in the cabinet, the lower cabinet, we're now going to put them into the upper cabinet. So remember, I marked the template so we had front and we had edge, so I knew which side was which. So now we've set this up. I use the high-tech tape to hold it in place. We'll drill those holes, and then we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. I flipped the template over, so I know this is the front edge, and I know this is the inside, so now they'll align perfectly. You can see I have the 3 holes here already, and now we're going to drill out these holes. I'm just holding it in place to make sure that I'm aligned, make sure my drill bit is straight. And drilling right to my tape bar. So I just used tape for this, and it held up well. I was able to guide it. And if you wanted to be a little bit more, have a little bit more secure, what you could do is actually put some blue tape on the bottom of your jig here, and a piece of blue tape on here, and then use a little bit of CA glue to hold it in place for you. And then you just pop it right off. This seems to work for me. The tape was strong enough. So now we're going to cut some dowels to length and do a dry fit. A simple dowel trick. Insert your dowel into the vise, put a piece of tape across the vise, and mark out 3/4 of an inch. This way you have a constant repeatable place to know where you're going to cut your dowel. The other thing that I like to do is put a slight saw curve down through the middle of the dowel. That way it has a spot for glue to go, and that way the joint is not starved for glue. So I've done a dry fit. The dowels are in the base of the cabinet top. I've glued those in. Additionally, I put glue in the holes on the cabinet base itself. I also scuffed the top a little bit, as well as scuffed the bottom of the cabinet, so I can actually get a bead of glue on the cabinet top itself. So now, here's the trick. Let's see if we can get this on. There we go. The alignment was tight, and now she's right in there. Now we'll just take a rag, wipe up the glue squeeze out. You were wondering if it was going to fit, so was I. So I'm a firm believer in wiping up your glue as soon as you can, and then come back in probably about a half hour after it's skimmed over a little bit to get the rest of it. That is a good tight fit all the way around. Then what I think we'll do is we'll put some clamps on this and then let it sit overnight. So after I got the top on and we got it glued down, what you saw, what I then want to do is apply some clamps. I'm going to kind of take you on a tour here so you can see it. So I've got clamps that are coming from the top shelf to the middle shelf down the bottom to pull the front down. And then I have some extremely long clamps that I also used that attach to the top as well as at the mid shelf. And as you can see, I got some good glue squeeze out once I did that. So again, we're going to let this sit overnight. I'm going to go through right now and just clean up some of the glue squeeze out. Makes the job easier tomorrow. And then we can put this as considered done, and a very solid top for our customer. And that way they'll be extremely happy. If you like this video, please check out the other videos on our channel, and also click subscribe and like to the videos that we have, and follow along in the journey at A.G. Johnson & Son Furniture Restoration.